Hello friends, this is Dr. Ranjan Gadai. Today I'll discuss on literature survey. Here I'll give the basic introduction to literature survey, then the source of the literature means what are the different website will get the research articles. Then we'll discuss the different type of literature. Then at the end, I'll discuss the different point we have to keep in our mind while doing the literature survey. And also I'll discuss the step of literature review, means how we'll proceed for the literature review, how to collect the data, how to collect the information from each paper, how to find out the research gap. All these things we'll discuss in today's lecture. Starting with introduction, first of all, to define a literature, it is basically a collection of all the scholarly writing on a particular topic or on your area of interest. It is a famous quote is there related to research that research may be done alone, but it is never done in isolation. Until and unless you not follow the other people's work or other researchers' work in a particular topic in your area of interest, you'll not get the knowledge, you'll not be up to date about that particular topic, means what's going on in that area, what are the people, what people are doing in that particular area. So before going into the research, before starting your research, you have to do the literature survey. You have to find the peoples who are doing the work in that particular area. Then you have to go through their work. You have to find the research gap. Then only you can start your work. That's why this statement is given that research may be done alone. You can do the research alone, that is fine. But without taking the help of the, without or considering other people's paper, without reading other people's research article, you cannot proceed for the research. There is another famous statement given by W. Wilson that I not only use all the brains that I have, but all that I can borrow. Now, what is basically a literature survey? Literature survey can be defined as a systematic method for identifying, evaluating, and interpreting the work produced by researchers, scholars, and practitioners. See, basically, while doing the literature survey, we try to follow the work of other people's in that particular area, because it is not possible to go through all the articles. So before going before going to start your work, you have to find out the people's. You have to find out the papers which is already published in that particular area. Then you have to go through all the papers. You have to find out the research gap. Then you can start your research. Before starting the research, it is mandatory. It is advisable to go through the other research articles in that particular area. That's why a literature survey is undertaken to decide how to move forward with the research idea which has been already done. To get your idea, to set your objective, first you will have to say that what are the work has already done in that particular area. Then it is obvious that no one can complete the research in a particular area. Always there will be a gap, always, no doubt in that. Now the main thing is that you'll have to find out the gap. What are the gap in that particular area? Then only you can set your objective. Then you can find out your research, your methodology. What are the methodology you'll use to get this objective? Then you go to the result, then discussion, then you can publish the article. But the preliminary thing of any research is the research survey, literature survey, and it is and there is other thing. This literature survey, it is not only you have to go through the literature at the starting of your research. Throughout of your research, you have to do the literature survey. The main reason is that why I'm telling this thing, because suppose you start your research in 2016, and during that time, suppose you went through a lot of literatures in that particular area, and you started your work, you found the gap and you started the work. While writing the articles, in that case you'll have to also go through the literature survey. Means within that 2 years, suppose 2 year you did your work, and that 2 years suppose you will not uh, do any literature survey, in that case you'll you'll face problem. If within that 2 years some people, if they have done anything in that particular day, that thing you also you have to keep in your mind. While writing the research article also, you have to give their you have to give their reference while writing the articles. And always it is advisable while writing the articles, what happens, it is advisable to follow the recently published article. That's why literature survey, that is a continuous process throughout your research work. You have to do the literature survey, but yeah, it is very important to do the literature survey at the starting of your research to find out the research gap and to set your objective. This literature survey is very vital. Now, why literature survey? Well, what is the need of literature survey? Now, first thing is what approaches have other use. Means uh, in your area of interest, you have to find out the other people's work, what are the different things they have done in that particular area, that you'll have to find out. Then from their work, you have to find out the research gap. Research gap is basically in a particular paper, you'll have to find out their result. These are the results they have got. Now you have to find out what are the things they have not done, and that thing you can do in your research. That is basically the research gap. That is very vital while continuing the research in any topic. That may be a science topic, that may be an engineering topic. From any paper, you can find out the research gap, because it is not possible to complete the research in a particular topic. Any paper you will go through, definitely you will find a gap of that paper in that particular area. Now you have to find out, by noting down the research gap, what difference you can make. That you have to also find out. Now you have to see the novelty of your work, what new you are doing. See, research is a thing you cannot duplicate. That means if someone has already done that thing and you are doing the same thing after 1 year, after 2 years, it is valueless. This in research degree, in any research, always you'll have to do some new work. There must be a novelty. Then placing the current context, means what are the things is happening in the current world in that particular time, that you have to also mention by doing the literature survey. What advancement has done. If someone has done the literature survey 3 years back, and after 3 years again he is trying to do the literature survey, definitely some advancement would be there. That advancement you have to find out. Then avoiding duplication, that is very vital. Avoiding duplication means if you not do the literature survey, what will happen, whatever topic you have decided, in that topic some people will be there throughout the world, they will be doing the work. In that case duplication will happen. So while doing the literature survey, you will have to avoid that duplication. If the scientific community, the researchers throughout the world, if they have done something, some work in that particular topic, you have to find out what are the works they have done in that particular topic. And you have to find out the research gap, and you have to set your objective from that research gap. That's why avoiding duplication is very vital, because if you do the same kind of work, it will be valueless. Then clarification of controversial result. If you are getting a kind of result, what are the different reasons of getting that kind of result? If someone has got that kind of result, if you go through the literature survey, then their reason you can put in your article, in your work. These are the things you will have to think while doing the literature survey, and these are for that reason only people do the literature survey throughout their research. It is really mandatory to do the literature survey throughout your research journey. Now next is literature survey in the context of research-based degree. Uh, Basically, what is a research-based degree? Already that I have discussed in my previous lecture. A research-based degree is basically the degree where we give more focus to the research. Generally, if you see all the degree, PhD degree is the ultimate research degree. But other than that, we can consider the your MTech, your MPhil, this MSc, all are the research-based degree, because in that kind of course, for 1 year we do the research, we do the research project. Unlike in the bachelor degree like BSc and your BTech, uh, only 6 months we get, and during that time also some coursework we do. So bachelor degree is not a research based degree. The master degree, the postgraduate degree, and no doubt the PhD one, the this is the research based degree. Now, what is the importance of literature survey in the research based degree in PhD? Just consider about PhD. What is the importance in that? A research degree should be based on the original research. That is really true, because whenever we do the research or whenever we start the research, our first intention is that there should not be any duplicacy. We'll have to do a new kind of work, and that new kind of work we can continue, and from that work we can publish some your research journal, research article, and we can write the thesis from that work which has not been done by any authors. Next is unintentional duplication is not acceptable. Intentional duplication is no doubt it is not acceptable, but unintentional duplication is also not acceptable. You cannot give any reason that no, I didn't know that people have already done the work in that area, in this topic. You cannot do that thing. That's why proper literature surveys required while doing your research degree. If you are doing a proper literature survey, then you will find out, yeah, then you will able to know that what are the things going on in the world in that particular topic. Next, to gain knowledge of background of your work while choosing the topic, before setting your objectives, you have to get sufficient amount of knowledge on that particular topic. If you not have a sufficient knowledge in the particular topic, in that case you cannot proceed further. That's why while doing the literature survey, it is very important to get the basic concept, to get the the already the work which has been done in that area. That is the thing you should know while doing the literature survey, to get the sufficient knowledge. The if you will read and much more number of research article in a particular area, so definitely you will get more knowledge. That's why people say no, the first before setting your objective of your work, first you do a thorough literature survey in that particular area. You find a research gap in that particular area, then you try to set your objective, then you go for the this your research work is to find out the research gap. The research gap, definitely, because if you go through the papers of other people, if you go through the research article of other people's, from there you can find out the research gap in that particular area. What are the things that people have already done, what are the things they have not done yet, and on the basis of the research gap you can set your objective. Once you set the objective, that means 30% work is done for your research degree. Then you can find out the methodology. You can you will find, once you will set the methodology, you will have to do the the experiment or numerical analysis. Then you will get the result. Then you will analyze the result. Then you can submit your thesis. But to find the research gap for any PhD degree is very vital. That's why while doing the literature survey of any topic, for each paper you will have to find a research gap. Means what are the things they have done, that you have to write separately, and in separately you have to also write what are the things they have not done yet. And on the basis of that, you will have to set your objective of your research work. Now, source of literature survey. What are the different source where I'll get the your necessary information for a particular topic. First, the textbook. In generalized way, text in the textbook will get the information about any topic, but that is not sufficient. Textbook is not sufficient for research. Only thing you can get the textbook is that the basic knowledge you can get, because textbook, what happens, people they write the textbook 10 years back, 20 years back. Even though some recent textbook you will follow, in that case also it will be not sufficient to carry out your research only if you follow the textbook. Textbook is necessary, but just to get a preliminary idea, a basic idea about any topic. Next is articles. That is very important. The journal articles, generally we call as journal. That is very vital. And this article is two types. One is your open access, other one is your closed access. Open access means which article, for which article you will not have to pay any subscription fee. It is available in the internet. You can search and you can read in that. Closed article is, for that subscription charges is required. A lot of institutes they pay for that. That are the closed articles. But this article is very vital while carry out your research. Until and unless you not go through all the articles mostly related to your area, in that case you will not find out the research gap. That's why reading the article from the source of research article, you will get you will able to get the knowledge related to your area. Next is thesis and dissertation. These are the things you'll generally get in the university side. What happens in nowadays, a lot of university, they store the data of their PhD student researchers in their website. If someone has done the PhD degree, then their thesis that you may get in the university site, or also some thesis you will get in the internet, that you can follow. If someone has done the research related to in a particular topic during his PhD, so he will have to write a this thesis or dissertation that you can go through while doing the literature survey. Next is government publication. Some data is generally published by the government. You can consider that one. That is the authentical one. For example, if you see, if someone wants to do the analysis of the NIRF ranking of different university in India, in that case, this NIRF ranking generally government do on the basis of certain parameter, and that parameter is available in the government website. That thing you can consider, and you can also analyze that data, and you can give separate ranking to different university on the basis of your analysis. Then likewise, the legal and professional publication also you can follow while doing the literature survey. Then conference paper also, it is a authentic one. A conference paper, if you compare with the journal articles are generally it's superior than the conference paper. Still, conference paper, what happens in each year, a lot of conference happen throughout the world, and a lot of conference they publish each article in the conference proceeding, and that if you go through that, then you will get the up-to-date knowledge in that particular area. It's what people has done in that particular area till date. If you go through that, then from there also you will get a knowledge regarding your work. Then monograph. Monograph is it is a special kind of book written on a single specialized topic, devoted mainly for research work. Unlike this textbook is generally to get the basic concept, but this monograph is kind of book written on a specialized topic, devoted mainly for the research work. It is like a big survey paper, you can consider this monograph. That's why people also follow the monographs while doing the literature survey. This can be considered as a source of literature. Then the statistical data, you can consider any statistical data of a particular topic as a source of literature. Now the type of literature, what are the different type of literature? If you broadly classify the types of literature, it is of three types: the primary literature, secondary literature, and tertiary literature. First of all, what is the primary literature? Primary literature is basically called as the original and new original research articles, yeah, original research and new scientific discoveries. You can consider the journal papers as a primary literature, or you can consider the conference paper, a conference proceedings as a primary your literature. The example is that, let's give also you can consider this your primary research as the thesis, dissertation, that all comes under the primary literature, and that is very vital while doing the literature survey. Out of these three, always try to follow this primary literature. It has more significance, or it has more impact uh, on your research. It will have more impact on your research as compared to the secondary literature and tertiary literature. Next is secondary literature. Secondary literature, it is basically, you can say that the review articles you can consider as a secondary literature, or you can consider some this monographs as a secondary literatures. Uh, this secondary literature summarizes and synthesizes the primary literatures. For example, in the review article, what we do is, review article is basically, it is the summary of a lot of work in a particular topic, and you can publish to any kind of journal, and that is very advantageous for the authors, yeah, for the researchers, because they are getting a sufficient amount of knowledge from a single paper, a single article. That's why while doing the literature survey, if you are following a review article, that means you are getting more knowledge as compared to a single article. And this monograph also you can consider as a secondary literature. Then the tertiary literature, these are basically the textbooks, and it is and these are the things, generally researchers, they do not follow much. Just to get the basic idea about something, people follow the tertiary literature, and these are the different three types. And out of these three, the main source is the primary literature. Then we can also consider about the secondary literature. Tertiary literature we generally use, you generally follow to get the basic idea about some topic. Now, these are the some terminology while doing the literature survey. We'll find this kind of, we generally find this kind of terminology. The first one is ISBN number. This is a number called as ISBN number, International Standard Book Number. It is basically this number. We generally find this number in any book, in any textbook. In every book, you will find at the back side of the page, and that ISBN number will be given to that. By that, you can identify the different books, and each publisher, they generally give a unique number to each book has been published by them. Next is International Standard Serial Number, ISSN number. This number you will get in each journal articles. Whatever journal article you will follow, for every journal article there will be a ISSN number. Also, some e-books are there. There also you may get this ISSN number, which is very vital. Without ISSN number, you will not find any journal, and it will be authentic one if it has a ISSN number. Next is this DOI. It is a very common word for the scientific community, digital object identifier number. For any online publication, what happens, before getting its volume, or before getting its page number, the DOI, the publisher, they publish that particular work with the DOI. After that, this your volume and your this page number, volume number, that come. That's why by using this DOI, you can search the research article from different sources, and it is a unique ID. This DOI, it is, if you check the DOI, you will not get same DOI for a single same DOI for two paper. Always the DOI will be different for each paper. Then these are the two things. One is UDC, Universal Decimal Classification, and your Research Information Service. These are the things from while doing the literature survey, you may get with this kind of word. The next for the this bibtext for the your reference and all bibliographic information. This term is there, your bibtext format. Then it's journal impact factor, H index, and citation index. Journal impact factor is basically for each journal, you have each good journal there will be one impact factor. What is that? It is basically the yeah, means for any journal, if people are following that journal, they are citing their paper. In that case, on the basis of that, this journal impact factor we calculate. Yeah, it has been calculated on the basis of that. Now, people may say that if someone is referring more time to a particular journal, the impact factor will be more. That is fine, but you cannot compare the impact on the basis of the impact factor in different area. For example, I am telling, if one journal is there in a science community and one journal is there for the engineering topic, in that case, if the impact factor of the science journal is more as compared to the engineering journal, in that case you cannot say that the science journal is more impactful than the engineering journal, because it all depends upon the number of researchers. If number of researchers in a particular topic will be more, definitely the impact factor of that journal will be more, because more number of people will go to the article and more number of citation would be there. In that case, if more number of citation would be there, so definitely impact factor will increase. Yes, one thing you can distinguish that in a particular area you can segregate, you can differentiate between the journal on the basis of their impact factor. Now this is H index, citation index. These are the things. H index generally we find for the authors. H index means if a author's H index is 10, means his 10 number of articles has been cited 10 times. So if the your H index of any authors is more, in that case, definitely the impact. Yeah, you can say that this research is more famous because a lot of people, they cite their paper, they follow the work of that particular authors. So H index is more, means you can say that this your authors is having more impactful in the research society. Likewise, the citation index is basically the number of citation of a particular journal by other journals. That is the citation index. These are the generally common terminology we find while doing the this literature survey. While going through the different journals, different articles, we'll find this kind of terms. Next is strategy to search. How we'll do the literature survey? These are the three basic way by which we can do the literature survey. The first one is keyword search. It is a systematic manual search. That means on the basis of a particular word, more than 1-2 word, we can find out the different number of articles which has been published in that particular area. Generally, it is a very simple search you can consider in any area. Suppose experimental work, in that case some experimental method would be used, some process will be used. In that case, by using that particular process, that word, you can search from the internet, from the your authentic source, and you will get the work of the peoples which has already done. The next is backward chronological search. It is the snowball or back reference method. How will do this thing? Suppose you are getting a paper. In that paper, a lot of references would be there, and all the references would be more or less related to that particular area. If you are finding a paper in your area, then, and it is, if that paper is very much suitable to your area, what you can do is, to get more number of information, you can go through the other papers which that particular author has been cited in his paper. On the basis of that, you will get a lot of information from other paper also. In every paper you will find a lot of references. that references you can consider, and you can take that references, and you can find their research article, and you can go through that research article. So that is basically called as your backward chronological source. Means if one paper has been published in 2019, now then you'll get the information about all the papers before 2019 or in 2019, because before publishing that paper, that author will have cited a lot of paper before that, which is already done, the authors which have already done in that particular area. And on the basis of that, you can target 3-4 number of good paper in your research area. Then from each paper, by going through the reference, you can download and you can find out a lot of paper related to your area of interest. So that kind of source is called as your backward chronological source. Next is your forward chronological source. What is a forward chronological source? If you are finding that one paper, suppose it is published in 1990, and that paper is suitable to you. If it has been published in 2000 and that paper is suitable to you, it gives more impact to your area of interest. Now you can do it, find out that uh, what are the other papers in which that paper has been cited. On the basis of that, you can also find out the papers, and that kind of search is called as your forward chronological search. Definitely you will get in the last, suppose in the last 20 years, you are finding 2-3 papers as the most cited paper in your area. Now by considering that paper, you can find out other paper where that paper has been cited. So on the basis of that, you will get a number of paper and you can go through that. It will be easy, because see, if you manually if you search, it will take a lot of time. So in the last two ways, in the backward chronological and the forward chronological way, in lesser time, you will be able to get more number of paper related to your area, which will be a time saving while doing the literature survey. These are the things you'll have to keep in your mind, by which it will be easy for you to do the literature survey. Now the major publication. If you see in the world, these are the major publisher. Maximum of them I have noted down here. Elsevier, Springer, Taylor and Francis. This first two, if you see these two, Elsevier and Springer, they are the very widely widely accepted publisher in the world for the scientific community, Elsevier and Springer. If you compare the total number of volume, by first three, the statistics is there, first three they publish around 75% of the research article published in the world. 70 to 75% research article published in the world. Then this Nature, Wiley, Mane Publishing, and also at the last, all the society we are a publisher like American Physical Society, American Institute of Physics, American Chemical Society. These are the number of society. It is also considered to be a reputed one. We see if someone is publishing an article in this APS or ACS, American Chemical Society, this ASME, American Society of Mechanical Engineering, this is a very prestigious society, and it is really very it is really very means you can say that prestigious if you are getting if you are publishing a work in that particular society. So these are the publisher you can follow, you can check while doing the literature survey. Now the online SS, there's some of the SS I have noted down here, and for that the organization have to pay some amount, the subscription charges. This Science Direct, here you will find all the Elsevier related journal. Means also Elsevier is a publisher. If you want to find out the work of the work which has been published in Elsevier journal, in that case you have to go through this Science Direct, and that by going through the Science Direct, you will not get all the papers until and unless the IP address where you want to download it, you want to see the articles, that if they have already subscribed and they have already paid the necessary amount to the publisher, you cannot download that paper from this Science Direct. So for that you can follow other premier institute where they have taken the subscription of this Science Direct, and from there you can also download. Then in that way a lot of your online SSS are there, like for Spinger related journal you'll get this Spinger link. Then Informa World, you will get the number of articles from that also. These are the site where you will get the papers related to uh, your area of interest. And other than this six, there are two other online assets like your ResearchGate and Academia Edu. ResearchGate, where what happens, the researchers they generally upload their research article in ResearchGate. From there also you can find out, you can get the articles. Or what you can do, if that article has not been uploaded in ResearchGate, you can request to the particular author for the research for their article. And if you're requesting him, and if he is giving, in that case there is no need of any subscription charge. From that also you can download, you can find the research article of your area of interest. Now the process of literature survey. Up to that we discussed the what is literature survey, and what are the sources where we'll get the literatures, then the different number of publishers, then the online SSA online site where we'll get the literature survey. Now this is a process of literature review. How will start the literature review? How will do the literature review? There are basically 7 steps, broadly classification, 7 steps of doing the literature survey. First one is to identify the question. Identify your question. Means before going into your research, first thing is that you have to find out your area of interest, where you want to do the research. That's the broad area. Now in that broad area you'll have to find out your that a particular area where you want to do research, because you cannot do the research in a broad area. Research generally we do in a narrow area, in a particular area. So that you have to find out, and on the basis of that you have to set the question, you have to set the objective. What are the things, means while doing the literature, while doing your research, you will have to go through a lot of papers. From that you will find out the research gap. On the basis of the research gap you have to set your objective, and then that objective you will have to achieve while doing your research work. The first thing is to identify your question, means what are the things you want to do in your research, and that you can do only if you go through the research paper. If you get a sufficient amount of knowledge in a particular topic, then only you will be able to find out, you will be able to find out the research gap, and you can set the objective for your work. Then review discipline styles, means in on a particular topic you will have to download the paper. Then that paper, then you have to go through all the downloaded paper. On the not, it is very tough to go through all the downloaded paper, but we are more you can go through the paper which is more similar to your work. In that paper you can download, and you can go through that. Then search the literature, then manage your reference. What are the literature you are searching, that in a Word file or in a notepad you have to manage your reference. Means by using that particular sequence, if you search in the internet, then you can able to find out that particular article. That is basically called references. And if you go to the Google Scholar, in that case there are a lot of different ways has been given in Google Scholar, and you can arrange your reference on the basis of that. Then now next is critically analysis and evaluate. Now while going through the literature survey, you will have to analyze each articles which you will study, and you have to note down that what are the things you are finding from each articles. Then you have to synthesize, you have to combine all the articles. Combine all the articles means combine the information which you have got from all the articles. That is basically called as your synthesizers. Then write the review. At the last, you will have to write the review in a particular sequence. Suppose you are going through 40 number of paper, a 50 number of paper. From each paper, you will get some data. Then you have to synthesize all the data, and you can go for the your review of that number of paper which you have gone through during your research. Now this is the how you segregate the number of paper on the basis of their importance. While going through the literature survey, see for a particular area you will get a huge number of paper, and it is not possible to go through all the papers on that particular area. Now you have to find out the importance of the paper in your area. Now that importance you can segregate in three different way. This is the way generally people follow. That way you can also consider people, they can follow their own way also, but this is the standard one you can follow. The important, not important, and average. If it is important one, suppose how you find out whether it is important one or not important one? If that paper has a very good number of citation, means if that paper has been cited by a number of authors in that particular area, you can consider that as a most important paper. And your average, this average or not important. In average one is if the citation is less as compared to the important one, that you can say that it is a average paper. And non-important is if it is not cited properly, that you can consider as a non-important one. And this thing is not true all the time. You may have to go through some non-important paper while doing the literature survey, but more often people they segregate in this way, like importance, average, and non-importance. Means if you are segregating, and if you are getting suppose 20 number of importance paper, then you will have to go through all the 20 important paper, and out of the average paper, suppose out of 20 you can go through 5-6, and not important you can whenever it is necessary you can go through that, and whenever it's not necessary you can keep that papers with you. If it will be necessary in future, then you can go through that, but you have to segregate in that way by which it will be easy for you. Otherwise what will happen, if you will not segregate, all the paper will be at one place. In that case, while searching for the different papers, then it would be tough for you. That's why you can segregate all the research paper in the particular area. Now the literature review metrics. How we do the literature review, how we form the literature review metrics. Generally we make the literature's review in a tabular manner. And how we arrange that, these are the different your different parameter you can consider: the number, reference, the study parameter, focus, gap, and finding. Now on the basis of these 6 things, you'll have to you have to make separate column for each things, for number, for reference, for the study parameters, for the focus, for gap, and the finding. Now for each article you'll have to arrange in this way. Now I'm going through the tabular form. See, in this case I have considered one paper related to the material science, a thin film coating. This is the serial number you have to give. The reference would be such that if you will search these things in the internet, you will be able to get the particular paper. This is really called the references. Here just I have only mentioned the author's name, the year, and this journal name, but other than that you will have to you'll have to put the volume name, your DOI you can pull in the reference section. Then study parameter. What are the parameter the author have considered while doing the literature survey? Then focus. what are the, on which things the author author have given the focus while doing their work. So in this case, in that case, you can write that thing out here. Then finding means what are the important observation or result the authors have found in his paper, that also you have to mention. That is the important findings. Now this is research gap. That is very important. In each paper you will have to write this research gap. Research gap is basically is finding he has got the result, that is fine, and what are the things he has not done, that you will have to find out, and that you will have to uh, you'll have to note it down, because on the basis of that only you will have to set your objective. Because area, you have said that this is my area, and on that area I will continue my research. Now what will be my objective of the research, that will be more specific, and that objective can be set on the basis of this research gap. Now, this literature review analysis, this how we will do the analysis of the literature review on the basis of the chronological, means on the year by which the literature survey or literature has been published. This is the chronological. You can segregate the research article in between, suppose 2015 to 2020, 2010 to 2015, 2005 to 2010. On the basis of the chronological order, you can segregate. Advancement, if on the basis of the technology, suppose in a particular area some authors they have used one technology, some authors they have used another technology, some authors they have used another method or technology. On the basis of that, in the experimental, what happens, if some people they have made a particular thing by using a different machine, and some people they have made that thing by using other machine, in that way also you can segregate the papers. Now weakness and strength means, while going through the paper you will observe the result, what they have got. On the basis of the result also you can segregate the papers. Then geographical, it is generally, it is a statistical kind of, generally the statistical people they use this here, they generally do the segregation on the basis of geographical, means on the basis of the location they used to segregate. Then question, this question means you can ask the question while segregating the literature review, or while analyzing the literature review. On the basis of that you can segregate the total number of paper which will study while doing your literature. Now write the literature review analysis. How will write the literature review analysis? Summarize sources and provide transitional connection between each group of reference. What are the number of paper the number of paper you will go through, that you will have to write in a summarized way. From each, the article would be of more 6 page, 7 page, 8 page, 9 page. You cannot write all these things. Just think the abstract kind of thing. 3-4 lines things you can write for each kind of paper. Then highlight the past research accomplishment. For each paper, you'll have to find out the work they have done. What are the work they have done in the past? That you will have to find out for each paper. Now next is evaluate the weakness and the gap of the previous research. That is very vital. For any particular topic, people you'll find a lot of research articles, and each article will have some gap, and that gap you have to point it out. And also, if you're finding any weak point of a particular topic, that also you have to find out. I'm giving one example. Suppose someone has developed a new kind of material. And while testing the hardness of the material, he has mentioned that this much hardness I am getting by testing the hardness of that particular material, newly developed material. If that hardness, if it is less as compared to the other published paper, in that case you can note it down that as a weakness, and in your work you can you can add that point, that this is the hardness, where maximum hardness has been observed in that particular new material. But in your case, in the new material which you will make, what will be the hardness, what will be the hardness of that one, that also you can mention. Weakness means in some paper you will find that a particular value, yeah, something they have written, and if you want to challenge that one, and you are getting a good result as compared to that one, that you can consider to be a weakness. Then the connect the review analysis with your research means while doing your research you can connect your work as compared to the other published work in that particular topic. Until and unless you not connect uh, your work with the other published work, it will not be sufficient. So while doing the literature review analysis, you'll have to mention the result which has been observed by that particular author, and on the basis of that you'll have to find the research gap, and what are the things you want to incorporate in your work, that also you have to find out. While you will do the writing part for your research work, that you can so while doing the analysis of the literature's review, you have to remember all these 4 points: highlight of the past research accomplishment, evaluate the weakness and the gap of the previous research, then connect the review analysis of your research. On the basis of all these points, you can do the analysis of literature, which you will follow throughout your research work. The main thing in this 4 point is that the third point, that is the weakness in the research gap. Because while doing the literature survey, a literature review, what happens, you will read a lot of articles. Now if you will not make a particular format, and you will not write the findings in the gap, what will happen, you will not be able to make the objective, you will not be able to set the objective of your work. So while doing the literature survey for any particular author, the tabular format you will have to follow. Then there will be one block, yeah, there will be one column for the research gap of individual articles. That thing you will have to mention out there. Then once suppose during the literature survey you have gone through 100 number of papers. Now on the basis of all the research gap of each individual papers, you have to set the objective for your work. And the last one, this is the connect the review analysis with your research. Means whatever research analysis you have done, research analysis means review analysis means the analysis of other people's work, yeah, other researchers' work. Now while you are doing while you write about your work, in that time you have to correlate your work as compared to the other published work in that particular area. These are the very vital thing while analyzing the literature review. Now we'll go to the golden rule. These are the 5 rules I have mentioned out here while doing the literature survey. These are the points we should keep in our mind. It would be easy, it would be helpful for us. First thing is report the status and accomplishment of the previous researchers. This is the foremost thing, because already in the starting of my slide I had mentioned that research can be done alone, but research cannot be done in an isolation. It's without taking the help of any authors, you cannot do the research. So you have to consult, you have to read the research article of other authors who is working in your area. That is very vital. Next is evaluate the weakness of previous researchers. While doing the research, while doing the literature survey, you have to mention 2 things. One is their result, then their weakness and the research gap. These are the 2 things you have to mention. And on the basis of their weakness and the research gap, you will have to set your objective of your research. That's why for each paper you have to write the research gap, and on the basis of that you have to set your objective. Now group the articles on the basis of a certain criteria. See, if you keep all the article at one place, in that case there may be a chances of confusion. That's why on the basis of a certain criteria it depends upon you. Either you can arrange on the basis of arrange on chronological basis, or on the basis of technology you can arrange, or on the basis of particular finding you can arrange the literature. On the basis of that, you have to segregate the number of research work uh, over certain criteria. Then provide a critical thinking. Critical thinking is basically means how you can define a critical thinking is, suppose you are going through 100 number of paper. Now in a particular area, suppose your area of interest is suppose materials, thin film coating, and in that you are in from that area you are going through 100 number of papers. Now by going through 100 number of papers, you will find 100 number of research gap, a huge number of research gap. Now on the basis of all the research gap and research finding and the weakness, you have to make a critical thinking. You have to provide a critical thinking. Now, what are the things people have done till date? What are the things people have not done till date? That you will have to find out at the end of your. At the end means before start of your literature survey. That is basically called as the critical thinking. The last one is link the review with what you want to do for your research. Now, this states that if you are doing the literature survey, then you are getting a critical thinking from all the literature survey. Now you have to link that with your research work. How you link that means, these are the things already the researchers have done in that particular area. These are analysis they have already done in a particular area, and these are the things has not been done by the authors, and that I want to incorporate in my research. That is the point you have to mention, and you have to find out while doing the literature survey. So before going into the of your own research, literature survey you'll have to do in a proper way, in a systematic way, and these are the your 5 point you should keep in your mind while doing the literature review for any particular topic. But for any topic, this these things you can follow, and definitely at the end you will you can correlate your work with other people's work whenever you will complete the work. If you will have done a very systematic way of literature review, at the end definitely you will be able to connect your work, yeah, connect your result with other people's result which has been already published. Then only you can validate your work. Okay, thank you.